Welcome back to Tiny Talk. This episode we have a special guest, Jeff from PestMax. So, where are you from originally, and how did you get into the pest control industry?
I'm originally from the eastern shore of Maryland, um, and my father and grandfather owned pest control companies. So I remember going on my first job when I was 5 years old.
You used to own your own pest control industry
Yeah,
back in Maryland?
I did. I did. I owned two of them. I started two pest control businesses after I got out of the Army. I started one, built it up, and sold it. Kind of palled around for a couple of years, trying out different things, and ran into an old friend. Together as partners, we opened the second one. I sold that one in December. My wife and I looked around on maps trying to find where we wanted to live. She picked Southwest Florida, so here we are.
And at the peak of your one of your two pest control businesses, what was the amount of employees you had?
We've kept it small. I never really had more than maybe 5 people at any given time. I'm a kind of a micromanager type boss, so I like to know what everybody's doing, how they're doing it, and when it's getting done, and making sure it gets done properly, perfectly every single time. So I think if I had multiple locations and hundreds of employees, I would never rest. So
Yeah.
I kept it small and simple.
So being in the industry for so long, have you seen like anything change, like with the introduction of technology? Has that kind of helped the
Oh,
business a little bit?
absolutely. If you look at it from the technical or technological aspect of it, we're pretty much paperless. We're about 99% paperless. Our technicians have to be at least 20% more efficient with having calendars on their phones, paperwork on their phones, emailing proposals, pictures. That definitely helps. Technologically, from the treatment aspect, when we first started and when my other family members were in business, we typically took a brown chemical, mixed it with a clear water, and made a white stinky chemical. And this product, we blasted it all over the place, and the insects stayed away. We created a barrier. The products that we moved to, I'd say at about 2000, our industry kind of graduated to baits and non-repellents. Non-repellents means the insects can't detect it. So they're crawling through it, nesting in it, sitting in it, and not knowing it. And this really made our industry much more efficient in that we weren't sending insects all over the place.
So as far as these chemicals go, do you guys mostly make them in the shop, or do you have like an outside manufacturer make them and have them shipped to you?
Everything is made by manufacturers. We mix them, we're trained, but I predominantly use Premier BASF Chemical Company products. They're the best in the business, the most effective. I'm a huge fan. Whenever I have the option between BASF chemicals and anything else, BASF, 100%.
And touching on, I know you mentioned you just moved down here a couple of months ago. Have you noticed like any different types of bugs or insects that are in this area versus Maryland?
Slightly. I've noticed in my research that there's a difference in pests from Fort Myers to Tampa. So absolutely. The biggest thing I noticed you have 4 different types of termites here versus in Maryland, I only had to deal with one. The most trickiest and scariest to me are drywood termites. There's absolutely no way we can guarantee that you don't get them. I have bad dreams about them all the time. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've had to spend the most time learning and getting the eye for my inspections. The other thing is rodent. The rodent population down here is the opposite of what I dealt with in Maryland. Most of the rodents that we dealt with in Maryland were Norway rats and field mice. They predominantly went under homes, nested in the grounds. Here, I think it's because everything floods so much here. They're not really floods, but the ground has just got a higher water table here that they have no choice but to nest high. So I see a big trend in the rodent population being roof rats, here being in trees and on roofs and that sort of thing.
And being in the industry, do you notice like an uptick in calls like in the rainy season, June and July versus more the dry season, or is it pretty consistent?
It seems pretty consistent. The biggest difference I notice is there's more people here at different times of the year. So the more people you have here, the more complaints you're going to get. But the pests here don't care. It's always perfect conditions here for all pests year round, best that I can tell.
Yeah, since COVID, the population here at least 5x'd because I've been here since 2010 and I've really seen it grow.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about seasonally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, just like obviously the people, maybe fewer people here in the summertime versus in January is such an inviting climate. Yeah, it makes sense.
And touching a little bit more about on the services that PestMax offers, you were saying one of the services is termites?
Yeah, absolutely. When you only have to deal with a subterranean termites that live in the ground, you can do a liquid treatment. Boom, no problem. Here, with the higher water table, the water doesn't break a liquid treatment down, but it moves the product and makes it less effective. What works here every time are Centricon termite baiting system.
Is that when they tent the house?
No.
Okay.
Centricon termite baiting system are the bait stations that they put around the home, the green discs that you see on a lot of homes. What makes that effective is even if the ground does get soaked or saturated, maybe you have to replace it or resituate it a little bit, but it's still working. It's still doing its job, and it's still attracting termites that would be within a couple of feet of your home, even after a hurricane, even after one of these hurricane level thunderstorms y'all get here every day. You know, it's wild. I go outside, I'm like, this is, and everybody's just no big deal. And these
And
giant
the sun's
storms.
out in 5 minutes.
I know, it blows. That's probably the craziest thing I've noticed since moving down here. We also offer quarterly pest control service, and you absolutely need some sort of pest control service, routine service like that, because you might get bees this month, you might get a 3-inch roaches crawling through your house next month. You might have one of the 50 different types of ants that we have down here the next week. You know, if you just sit there and just wait until you have a problem, you're going to be nickel and dimed and constantly calling anyway. You know, you may as well get on a service. A regular home, about 2,000 square feet and under, is about $400 a year, and you have us on call. Comes with a guarantee. Obviously, if you have a larger home, it's more. If it's smaller, it's less. If you have special circumstances, then it's going to affect the price. But generally, around $100 to $150 every 3 months. PestMax, I like it. I genuinely like the owners. I like the staff. I like my coworkers. Everybody's knowledgeable. One of the big things that I noticed with that is I get complaints or concerns from clients when they wipe the spiders down on the pool cages. They're worried that we're going to tear the screens. Well, that's one of the little things that comes along with having technicians with a decade of experience. They know not to shove that screen and break it and rip it. They're going to wipe it down. They do this all day long. That's one of the benefits I've seen to having good quality technicians with good leadership and a lot of experience.
And I'm happy you brought that up, that the service you offer, the quarterly service. Mm-hmm. I could speak from experience with that, because back when I used to come down here seasonally and I would leave the house for 3 or 4 months, there would be spider webs all over the pool cage. There would be dead bugs in the kitchen, living room. But with that quarterly service, that could, you guys could come in before we would come down, clean everything up, and just prevent any problems from happening.
That's absolutely the goal. Yeah, it's good to have us on call, but it behooves everyone for us to stay ahead of this.
Why not prevent it if you can?
Exactly. So our guys are going to put good quality, premier products on the outside that are going to prevent a lot of these things from coming inside. The water really doesn't break our product down. We mix it with water. It's the sunlight. UV light is what breaks our products down. So you're in the sunshine state. So, that's where most of the UV light comes from. So when we get on a routine service and we're reapplying a product every couple of months, those treatment times are going to overlap, and we're going to interrupt life cycles. They can do whatever they want to do out there in the world, but your home, we're protecting it.
And for somebody putting up a new construction home, would you have any different recommendations versus somebody who is purchasing an existing home for treating rodents, if there is any on the property, or to prevent any from coming?
As far as rodents go, what I would recommend is keeping trees and shrubs at least 12 inches away from your structure. no branches touching your house. Look for any types of opening. Have us come out. We do free inspections. So, I mean, I'll come out and take a look at it and seal that, fix that, close that up. Part of the quarterly service, we're always looking for stuff like that. So I would say definitely stay on a route, get an exterminator out there, get on some sort of routine service, even if it's just once a year, come out and spray and check it out. And just keep your eyes peeled. You never know. If you're looking on your screen and you see a perfectly round hole in the screen, that's probably a rodent. Chewed his way in there. Fruit-bearing trees are going to attract rodents. Those little berries all over the palm trees, they love to eat those. So if you have one of those next to your home, next to your pool cage, that's definitely going to attract them.
So have you noticed like homes that have ponds or lakes behind them or just ditches of water around them, have you noticed an increase in mosquitoes or just pests in general?
Anytime you have water, it's going to attract life. Whatever the city of Fort Myers is doing for the mosquitoes is doing a pretty good job. I fully expected mosquitoes to be a huge part of our market down here, and honestly, I haven't noticed that it is. I don't know if now if you go to an untreated state park, yeah, the mosquitoes are out of control. But when I go right into Fort Myers, I'm expecting to see a lot of mosquitoes.
They are pretty good about it.
Yeah, they do. Whatever they're doing, it's working pretty good. But the biggest thing I've noticed are around pool cages, people like to have privacy, and I respect that. What I don't like is when you have these palm bushes growing and they're super thick, full of all this stuff going on in there. Gotta cut that stuff out of there. That's just attracting everything. The giant roaches, mosquitoes, flies, everything. Yeah, it's just perfect harborage area for everything. So yeah, it's definitely something to, I'm not going to tell you to cut it down, but I'm going to recommend you clean out the bottom of it. Just something to break up the outline of whatever you're doing in your pool cage. I don't know, change the screen, put some lattice on there. I don't know, that's so much better than just having this big, thick hedge row of bushes all around there.
Like you said, those plants are breeding grounds just for anything. So Jeff, working at PestMax, what does your day-to-day schedule look like?
Well, the night before or a couple of days before, I'll send out my emails and texts and just confirm my appointments for the day, or the office will confirm them. I'll check out my schedule. When I go to my appointments, I never really know what I'm going to get myself into. One client may be spiders, the next one may be an ant, the next one may be bed bugs, roaches. You just never know. But I do get a lot of, I'd say 90% of my clients are homeowners, residential homeowners in their homes that want to keep spiders, roaches, and ants under control, and rodents.
And how do you think that your quarterly service could benefit people who own rental properties?
Well, one of the big things, I'm from an area where it's a lot of apartments, a lot of Section 8, that sort of thing, a lot of Airbnbs. Right there is Ocean City is another resort town, very similar to, it looks like a mini Miami, really. One of the things that I felt was very beneficial there, that could be very beneficial here, is when you get on one of our routine services and we guarantee or we treat for bed bugs and roaches and that sort of thing. When someone moves into a place, if they bring a problem with them and this unit's been receiving a treatment, they can say, hey, I moved in here, there's bed bugs in this unit. Well, not necessarily. The last guy that was here received treatments from PestMax. They treated the bed frames, they treated the furniture, they treated the baseboards. We've been treating it for years. You may have a problem, but you didn't get them here. And with that service, if you even find a dead roach or a dead bed bug, we treat the whole unit for free. Okay, that's huge because that puts the ball back in their court.
It gives the landlord peace of mind too.
Absolutely. And when you're worried about 5-star reviews, when you're worried about your reputation of your Airbnb or your rental management business, hey, we have PestMax doing routine services, treatments on all of our units, doing the best they can to prevent these problems. It is nowhere near what you're talking about. So you may have a problem, but you didn't get them here. And
I feel like that peace of mind, especially in today's world for a landlord, is is great.
Absolutely. And if I can keep them under control in the wild and crazy, chaotic places that I've done work for over the years, I'm positive that I can take care of them down here in paradise.
And do you handle mostly residential, or do you do like larger scale contracts like HOAs,
For sure. Both.
commercial?
Yeah, I would say most of my day I'm dealing with and working with residential clients, but I'm definitely busy with new construction, remodeling, the repairs from hurricane damage, for sure. Yeah, definitely, and definitely HOAs and clubhouses and townhouses. I mean, I pretty much do it all.
So I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, Jeff. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Just that I'm new to the area. I love meeting people. I'm trying to get my name out there and share my experience. I'm an exterminator nerd. I love talking about it. I love doing it. I love helping people and solving their problems, and providing a good service and having a long-term professional relationship with people. That's very important to me. I like doing it. I like when I go out and somebody recognizes me, we talk about it, again.
So if they want to get in touch with you, what would be the best way? And I'll have your contact info come up on the screen.
Yeah, my cell phone number's right there. Give me a call or text anytime. My email's on there. You can shoot me an email. Call the office. Ask for Jeff. I'm the only Jeff there. So
Great. Well, thank you for being on today.
Thank you.
That's pretty much going to wrap it up today, and we'll see you guys at the next episode. Thank you for watching.